Welcome back to Chow Time Pod. It's your host, Red. Got a video today from Britt Cooper. Women are apparently tired of being masculine. Please like and subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. Let's get that chow. It's chow time.
Welcome back to the comments section. I'm Britt Cooper. Today we're going to be talking about an internet trend that I have seen pop up mainly on TikTok, and I actually find it very encouraging. It's also quite revolutionary because, get this, it's women rediscovering what it means to be a woman.
What is that?
So even though I first saw this on TikTok, publications have started picking this up. So I want to jump right into an article that I recently saw in Glamour magazine. And they wrote, "Welcome to the soft girl revolution. How young women are rejecting girl boss culture for a life of leisure. Trying to hustle your way up the corporate ladder is so last decade." Well, would you look at that? The girl bosses are not loving girl bossing that much anymore. Now, this all kind of ties into the videos that I've shown you guys where it's girls like crying at like 7 p.m. when they're still at the office and they're like, "Why did the feminists fight so hard for this? I don't want to do anything." They've now taken that anger and they have transformed it into their new lifestyle, which is the soft girl era, soft girl revolution. And this particular Glamour article seems to have been sparked by one of these TikToks. Watch this.
"I want to be a girl boss. I don't want to hustle. I simply want to live my life slowly and lay down in a bed of moss with my lover and enjoy the rest of my..."
And that's exactly what us men want to do with our girl, with our soft guy era. Come on.
existence, reading books, creating art, and loving myself and the people in my life. Bada boom, bada bing.
I mean, it sounds idyllic. We used to have that. We used to be able to do that
Too late
before
now,
the Industrial
ladies.
Revolution
Too late now.
and modern feminism. Somebody said, "That's all I've ever wanted, but capitalism calls me lazy and useless for it." Somebody else said, "I found the right side of TikTok. The other side wanted me up at 6, hustling every day. I just want to enjoy nature and make memories with family." Somebody else said, "I don't know why this toxic way of living has flourished. I just want to be alone and quiet." Now, obviously, I'm going to say that to a degree, it's the feminists' own fault for this current work culture for women, because a few women pushed so hard for all women to be career-focused and girl boss babes, which resulted in pushing all of the rest of the women to become this out of necessity, whether they had that goal to begin with or not, because the government saw an opportunity. There were increased incomes to be taxed, and the government got to raise the babies in the school system. And of course, there became an incentive for daddy government to get
I 100% agree with all of this.
behind the feminist revolution as well. I mean, it is so much harder to be a stay-at-home wife or a stay-at-home mom than it was in the 50s. Culture and the economy has shifted drastically, and now families can barely afford to do that anymore. It is now the exception and a privilege. It is not the standard. Now, interestingly, Gen Z
Unless you're living way below means, like, immigrant families, this is the only people I really know that truly live below their means or like true immigrants that just came here recently. Everybody else lives quite lavishly. I want to say, even myself.
has become so self-aware that they finally might be realizing the ramifications of this kind of society. Women have been acting masculine for so long now that their response is to desperately want to lean back into their femininity. And that's not just coming from the aesthetic trad wife girls on TikTok, it's coming from everywhere. And that is basically what started this soft girl movement. It is what the soft girl lifestyle is all about.
It's okay. We know. That's why we have our soft guy era. Us men have been wanting this for centuries upon centuries. But men have always had the burden to carry, to be the provider, the protector, and all these things, Now we just want to 50-50 it. Come on. 50-50? 50-50.
Now, back to the Glamour article, they're talking about the girl from that TikTok, and they wrote that Jones isn't alone. For many Gen Z women who have entered the workforce during the past few years, their greatest dream, increasingly, is to have the chance to achieve nothing, at least by traditional capitalist standards. Welcome to the world of the soft girl, the lifestyle choice that many young women are now holding up as an ideal. The soft girl doesn't value the grind or getting ahead. She prioritizes slow living. Her days are filled with a nearly obsessive focus on self-care.
You see, it has nothing to do with, taking care of your men, how to even deserve this lifestyle. It's it's just what they want. That, isn't it sad? Men have to provide you these lifestyles. And if men are providing you these lifestyles, you're going to have to say, you kind of have to follow suit to what men want, ladies.
Hair. From making the perfect morning smoothie to tending to her skin and trading in hardcore hit workouts for leisurely cozy cardio. Long term, the soft girl dreams of making dinner for her husband.
Oh, now
sexism.
it's
Isn't that
like-
oppression? Isn't that what we've been taught, that that's oppression? And if she's got them, staying at home with her kids. She's not interested in being promoted or founding her own company. She's in touch with her feminine energy, her menstrual cycle, and her moods. So if I've gotten this right, based on what the TikTokers are saying and what Glamour magazine is saying, Gen Z has finally discovered what women have desired since the dawn of time. But of course, we just had to put a new label on it because that's a very Gen Z thing to do. We are bringing everything back up from the past, whether it's traditional womanhood or monogamy, and we're making it a brand new fancy thing that we've all just discovered. I also love how quick they are to villainize capitalism, like the girl in the TikTok also.
That's every single time. It's always villainizing capitalism. It's not capitalism's fault. It's women's fault, and that pushed for it.
But you will never hear them saying anything bad about feminism or the government. Like, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but it's feminism that did this, and it's the government destroying the nuclear family that did this, not capitalism. But anyway, moving on, the article also writes that, in other words, to be a soft girl is to radically reject the idea of being a girl boss, the bastion of feminine achievement that was an ideal during the tech boom of the late 2000s.
Wouldn't this be just a pick-me? I thought you guys called this pick-me's. Now you want to name it soft girl era? Get the fuck out of here with your fucking bullshit.
2010s. Women who strove to be girl bosses went to bed late and got up early to sweat it out at a Barry's or a Soul Cycle. They idolized female business leaders like Sheryl Sandberg and Marissa Mayer, who famously worked from her hospital bed after she delivered twins, which is insane that that was the norm, that we just decided that that was okay. They sipped cocktails among other professionals at Audrey Gelman's The Wing, slathered on as much bomb.com as their face could handle from Emily Weiss's Glossier, pre-ordered the Sophia Amoruso's biz advice book literally called Girl Boss, while listening to Hillary Clinton speak about breaking the glass ceiling.
Jeez.
I am cringing with every single example. The next generation of women have watched all of this unfold, observed our burnout and our late nights, our stress fractures and our egg freezing, we just talked about that, and said no thanks. What about if we just didn't try so hard? Yes. What if? What if we just rejected all of that? But also, I don't think it's right to say that being a soft girl and this whole thing is about trying less, because in order to be a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home wife, you do have to try. You do have to learn how to keep a home in order, how to organize your family's life. You do have to work on yourself so that you can become the type of woman that a traditional man will want, that a traditional man will want to support, so that you can live your soft girl life just going to Pilates and doing face masks. Like, getting facials and going to Pilates is fun, but it's not just about superficial self-care. Like, it's about
Really,
going back to
right?
your biological, natural roots, which you can do with balance of nature. Living a healthy lifestyle can be challenging when you are always on the go. You need simple, manageable routines to make sure that you are wide array of people talking about what this term means to them, how they define this term. And I thought this was interesting. This is a guy attempting to describe it.
Now it's no longer independent women. It's all about soft girl era.
What is
you know?
what is a soft girl? Maybe I'm just too damn old. Soft girl.
So the soft girl era is this era where the women are in their femininity, apparently, where they are doing the bare minimum for themselves and waiting for the men to come and take care of them now.
Interesting.
That's what the soft girl era is.
Interesting. This is literally how the world has been for all of eternity until very, very recently. I've never heard of this before. Like, guys, this is not some new idea.
Having to be independent for so long.
Yeah.
They don't like it. You know, because that's them thriving in their masculine energy.
Yeah.
Because that's what the man is supposed to be for. They're supposed to be here to provide for you and protect you. They got a taste of what they don't want, which is what we have to deal with. So now it's like, oh, this is too much. Now let me go back to my
Wow, that's so interesting.
femininity and stay in there and wait for a guy to come and take care of me.
We fought so hard to get rid of that. For what? Just to realize we don't like it? That literally is what happened. One girl commented under that and said, "It's about being a positive female energy for your boo to enhance his work ambitions, thus giving both of you a life of fulfillment." That reminds me of that study that was done about how married men make more money. And a lot of people argue that it's because he now feels like he needs to provide for his family. He's more ambitious. He's going to put the extra work in. He's driven to make more money, to be more successful. That immediately reminded me of that. Anyway, that creator responded to that comment and said, "Not for sure. I agree. That's why, to me, focusing on yourself and your mental health is the bare minimum anyone should be doing already." Somebody else said, "It's coming out of survival mode," which is good. It's just good. That's a good comment. Another person said, "I don't think it's about doing the bare minimum for ourselves.
It's funny because women never had to be in survival mode for such a long period of time. until feminism, and they all wanted to work and, you know, take care of themselves. And then they got put into survival mode, and they couldn't even last like 50 years.
It's about not doing the most for men. And that guy was like, okay, got it. Don't get angry at me. And that, to me, is not the energy that you want. Like, that is making it a male versus female issue when it's not. It should be all of us against the postmodern feminist revolution and the government whose decisions, specifically economic decisions, keep us chained to our desks at companies who give egg freezing as a perk because they're so nervous to lose women and they don't want women to go home and become mothers. And yes, that has literally become the norm. Look at any big tech company. They offer complimentary egg freezing to all other female employees. It is seriously creepy and twisted and weird. Now, anyway, back to the Glamour article because there's just so much good stuff to unpack. If I could just sit here and read all of it to you guys, I would. You can go find it online if you want to read the whole thing, though. They said, she's right. Grinding away at building a career is not the end-all, be-all to a soft girl. It's embarrassing. To them, the pursuit of what is known as hustle culture is not just toxic and potentially harmful to their health, it actively goes against what it means to be a woman. And then they put a quote from another TikToker who said, the feminine urge to tell women that hustle culture has been designed for the 24-hour male cycle, not the 28-plus day female rhythm, which is why we feel so burned out and exhausted. And remind them that they're not broken for not thriving in a world that wasn't made with them in mind. In the soft girl world, breaking away from the grind to focus on your own well-being is held up as the bastion of success, and the women who leave the corporate world to do things like traveling abroad, going to work as an innkeeper, or living off-grid are hashtag goals. I'm literally
Who the hell is going to live as an innkeeper? What the hell?
trying to move to a farm right now, and I would happily live out my Gilmore Girls dreams and be an innkeeper, so I guess I'm an aspiring soft girl. Or I'm just a woman that knows what it means to be a woman and wants to lean into how I was designed to be. We could also just put it that way. But the article was not all positive because in a hilarious turn, they go on to warn girls how this soft girl lifestyle, the soft girl era, can quickly spiral into being a trad wife, which you don't want, which is very, very scary. Even though literally everything that they have been describing about being a soft girl, like, relates to traditional womanhood and being a trad wife. Which
Oh man, this sprinkle soft girl era shit is just hilarious.
then led them to acknowledging another side of TikTok, which is the side of TikTok that does not support the soft girl era. One person said, quote, I think it's just promoting the traditional gender norms that we have worked so hard to push back on. And Barbie would say the same thing. It's not just Barbie to promote those very stereotypical gender norms, especially in a world where equity, diversity, and inclusion is so important. Many people don't conform to the typical male or female identity. Like, listen, you don't need to get your panties in a knot about this. Like, women leaning into their womanhood is not anti-equity, diversity, and inclusion. You don't need to be intersectional here. We're just talking about womanhood. And maybe some people, like me, really liked those traditional gender roles. That's not a crazy statement. Now, obviously, I'm not trying to say that every girl needs to desire to be a soft girl, whether it's later on in their life or right now. Like, I'm obviously still working. I have a career. People would call it hustling, I would say, especially being here in Hungary doing the show and Pendragon. But I have some big career goals that I'm working to accomplish. And obviously, I don't want to vilify that because obviously I love what I do, like so many women who have careers. But at the same time, I'm 22. Like, I have time to pursue my career dreams and then focus on my family. Like, right now, these dreams are high up on my priority list, but I am completely prepared for that to eventually change, whether that's in a year or 2 years or 5 years. Like, I'm expecting and I want that priority to change. It's the women that pursue their career goals as their life's only purpose that seem to get the most burned out and are left unfulfilled. But finding a purpose that is more in line with your biology and creating a life that will outlive you, in a sense, seems to be the most beautiful and what leaves women the most fulfilled.
And I agree with for men too. Kids are one of the greatest gifts that's given to men and women, human beings.
Or at least pursuing goals in a way that does not go directly against your natural desires and your biology.
Shout outs to Big Cooper. Just in case you guys didn't understand what the soft girl era thing was, that's exactly what that is right there. Wanting to be a wife without having to do wifely duties, pretty much. Drizzle. Please subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. And I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.